Hey guys, welcome into the show. Mason Kern, joined by Jake the Snake Plummer. Jake, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing all right, Mason. It's in Colorado. We got about a foot of snow that just dumped in the last 24 hours. So it's a true lockdown, isolation in the house, craziness going on around the Plummer household.
Yeah, how are you just kind of hanging in there with everything? How the kids doing just kind of in this lockdown situation?
They're doing all right. We've been homeschooling our kids. So I have three, 9, 6, and 3-year-olds. So, they're used to being home doing that part of thing. I've been working from home up until about a couple months ago when I was trying to get out of the house and go to the office or to a coffee shop. And now with this, it's just been kind of back to normal for us, minus getting out and going to a movie or going out to see friends or meet up with friends for dinner and that social interaction, that we're all humans. We need it. So it's been tough. These Zooms and going online are one thing that, have kept you a little bit sane, but we all need that tangible like hug and moment to be around each other. So, seeing a couple friends, not obviously getting too close, but going on some hikes with some buddies so you can at least talk to another human besides your wife and kids and dog. That's how I'm coping.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you gotta, like you said, that human interaction definitely really crucial for sure. And I want to get into kind of some of the stuff you've been doing since your college NFL days. I know that you're in this Ready List Pro Sports. What is this initiative kind of all about?
But it's Ready List Sports. ReadyListSports.com is the website for anybody that wants to gain more information or sign up for a demo. Buddy of mine, Chad Freehoff, that I met in Denver in 2005, he came up with a concept about 5 years ago to try to streamline the learning process for football players, basically to help them study more efficiently, utilizing multiple learning styles. Tactile learning ups retention rates by 70% in some cases, auditory learning, visual learning. Everybody learns differently. So to touch on all of those on a team or in a facility or in the meeting rooms, there's not enough time. So what we've created is the ability for coaches with our revolutionary playbook drawing tool in our playbook that will save you 15, 20 minutes per play that you have to draw up, allowing coaches to draw their playbooks. Once they draw them and utilize even the preloaded templates we've already put in there, they can send those playbooks to their players. The players can study. Auto-generated on the back end of those playbooks are tests. So players study, and they go take the test. Everything is timed. All the answers are, captured and sent back as data back to the coaches. So coaches can know what's going on and where they stand and when, what they can do. They need to do more or pull back the reins a little bit. There's really been no advancement in the tech space with playbooks for a long time. So we felt like there was a need for that. And it's not my idea. I've only added my knowledge and a little bit of insight into it, and then my connections with coaches, players at high levels that can put their eyeballs on this. And this is a perfect time for what we've created, not to capitalize, but to provide a tool to help ease the stress and hopefully help the transition when it happens back into football for these coaches and players. It's a remote learning tool, really. You can put your playbook in through the phone, iPad, tablet, whatever it is. You download the app, and coaches can send players pertinent information to keep them up to speed so that when those gates open and we're allowed back on the field, guys will be ready to roll.
Well, it really seems like it's a perfect time for this, whole remote learning process and your tool. It really seems kind of revolutionary. What was the birthplace of the idea? How did this all kind of come about in the first place?
Well, like I said, I got presented a 300 slide PowerPoint from Chad Freehoff, who Player of the Year, D2, college, Colorado School of Mines, a great kid and really smart, had a photographic memory. When he got to the league and to Shanahan's offense, where I met him in 2005, it was really hard for him to regurgitate, zip, trip, flip, double wing right, 76, flanker drive, X comeback. He had a hard time with the terminology and those long-winded play calls. So when he went from team to team trying to make it in any league you name, he tried it over 7 years, about 9 different teams. He knew how to study. He had a photographic memory. He played 2 sports at Colorado School of Mines, an engineer, smart kid. He struggled. So when he's looking at his teammates, he's going, man, if I'm struggling, I know all these guys are struggling to learn this. a in route at one offense is called a curl route in another, or called a hook in another. There's all these different terms for all the same thing. So that's when he started thinking about the Rosetta Stone for playbooks, and figured if you could model something for the nomenclature to help these kids, any kid, any player learn quicker and utilize all the learning styles, that we could be onto something that could help these players excel and chase their dreams. And coaches have loved it so far. We've been in the NFL. We've been in D1, Power 5. We've been in D2, D3. We've been in high schools, all the way down to 4-on-4, 8-year-old flag football. We've had people using this. We just haven't had that big explosion yet. And in this time of need where, coaches are sitting at home wondering what to do or what to do next, we're trying to appeal to them to, hey, prepare for what comes of this COVID. Like coaches say, preparation is key. Well, we're going to try to provide a tool for them that right now in this environment we're in will help them rest a little bit easier, knowing that they can reach their players and teach their players remotely, keep them up to speed so that there's no lag time once we do get back on the field.
And I'm sure this is something that you probably would have loved to have during your heyday too, huh?
I would go to bed almost every night. Shanahan, he liked to add plays all the time to the game plan, and he'd stay up late one night finding some odd look that we were, against the opponent we were facing, and we'd have a new play the next day or a few new plays. So always a constant learning process for me. I don't have a photographic memory. Stuff wasn't cemented and retained in my brain day 1 through day 12 install. So for me, I was always on the move, learning, studying, spending a lot of time drawing out formations, watching video and studying the plays, concepts, and my reads, progressions, protections. I would have loved to have had this. It would have definitely helped me sleep better, and probably would have eliminated the grinding of the teeth through stress, because I just wanted one more hour to study a little bit more, but I knew sleep was important. So I think we can appeal to that player that, definitely maybe has a tough time learning and wants to make it, fun and interactive, and also accessible. It's a playbook in your pocket. You can access it through an app on your phone, iPad, tablet, take it anywhere you need. And when the coach needs you, he'll send you the test, you take it, and he gets those results back. Another key aspect to what we have, it goes offline. So, you don't have to be tied to Wi-Fi. As long as you upload the test, you can go home, study, you can be on a plane, go into the next week's opponent, you can study, take those tests, and then when you get to Wi-Fi, it goes back into the system. And like I said, our drawing tool really is what's setting us apart from anybody else out there, is how fast we can put your playbook in a few days turnaround. We can put in a pro playbook and have you ready to go.
Yeah, well, I definitely think, you guys have really broken into this space in a huge way, and it's something that a lot of these coaches and players really are going to certainly need, especially as we're in this time right now where it's all remote and everyone's trying to learn in a virtual setting. And I kind of want to take you back now, Jake, to your playing career and even some of the teammates that you played with, specifically Pat Tillman. The anniversary of his draft is coming up, as well as the anniversary of his death. Cardinals general manager Steve Keim was recently talking, and he was sporting actually a throwback Tillman jersey. What did he kind of mean to you? I know you guys were friends just throughout his playing career and your guys' career together, stemming from Arizona State to the Cardinals as well.
Pat was just a badass in all facets of life, as a friend, as a husband, as a family member, as a teammate, as just a normal, citizen in society. The way he treated people, the way he carried himself, he's a seeker of knowledge. He wasn't dull. He constantly strived to make himself better. And part of me hates him for that, because he's not here for me to, get motivated by or call and say, hey man, I'm kind of stuck. What could I do? He's gone, and now I got his legacy to live up to. So, you could never really live up to somebody's legacy like his, that I believe was already immense and huge before he gave up playing in the NFL to go fight for his country. So, everyone knows him as a war hero now, and as a selfless person that wanted to give up all that money to go fight for what he felt was right in his heart. So that's turned him into really a worldwide, historical figure, and for sure in the United States, someone that will be talked about for a long time. I just feel lucky to have known him and been a teammate of his, both with the Sun Devils and the Cardinals. And just a quick reference to what I say as far as a friend and what kind of person he was. He called me prior to his last deployment to Afghanistan I had just gone through a pretty big life change and was struggling a little bit, and he called to check on me. And that just goes to show the kind of guy he was. When, you know, I should have been checking on him, he was calling to check on me. So I really miss him, along with, can't even imagine his parents and his brothers, who I'm in contact with once in a while. Marie, his widow. I mean, you know, he was a real special guy that left an indelible impression on everybody he met, not because of, you know, his good looks, which he was a good looking guy, or not because he drove a nice car or smelled good, but because he looked you in the eye and he made you feel special. And when you find someone like that, you meet somebody like that, you just count your blessings to have had them in your life for whatever period of time that is. He, you know, he keeps me motivated. You know, like I said, I get to speak about him a lot, and I'm the go-to sometimes to share stories of Pat and what would he think, what would he do. And at times I have to check myself and go, I don't know if I should talk about Pat right now. I'm not being very Pat-like by being lazy and complacent. You know, that's just what he was about, was none of that. I mean, he was always striving to get better. You know, for instance, running a marathon between, I believe, one of his seasons, either his first year or second year in the league, when the coaches said, hey, we need you in the weight room. We need you to get bigger and put on more weight. What did Pat do? He ran a marathon. So, you know, he did what he wanted to do. He didn't let people change him. He was who he was. What you see is what you get. And you can learn a lot from that, just to trust in who you are, be confident in who you are. And I try to, like I said, you know, honor him as much as I can. But like I said, I was just lucky to call him a friend and a teammate, and, you know, miss him dearly, but I can't even imagine his brother and family, how bad they miss him every single day.
Right, a legacy that certainly lives on in so many people's minds, for you guys, I'm sure. Just that much more, for sure. And I see, I mean, obviously teammates with him at ASU, like you said, you're wearing the Sun Devil cap, and I know you had quite a career at Arizona State. And can you kind of take me back in reflecting on I mean, everyone talks about the special season in 1996, but your whole career there, playing under Bruce Snyder, what was that really like?
Bruce was amazing. It's really he was the reason I went to ASU when I was going through the recruiting process. It came down to ASU and Washington State. I'm a 6'2", 170-pound, you know, kid out of Boise, Idaho, the only D1 athlete out of there for football in the state of Idaho that year. And here's Bruce Snyder in my living room with my coach and my mom, brother, and some family sitting there, looking me in the eye saying, we feel if you come to ASU that you're the piece of the puzzle that can help us go after and possibly win a national title. No other coach had said that. So when he told me that, that was a huge boost of confidence for myself, but it was also the determining factor for why I went to ASU, because to go jump in line at some other school and win another national title and just be obviously special, but I wanted to go somewhere where I really had never heard much about the team, and ASU was that program. And when he said those words, that was really the determining factor. I wanted to see if, you know, hey, let's see what this guy's talking about. And sure enough, through the patience, the hard work, the sacrifice, his guidance, and him building that entire team, Pat Tillman being one of those guys, a lot of special individuals that to this day are still doing phenomenal things in the world. He built that team. He was the architect that came in and put all that together, the coaches, everybody. So a really amazing human being to have put us all in that spot and given us the freedom as players to be ourselves, to figure out stuff for ourselves, to let us lead. And he stepped back and let us become that team in '96 that was so special. A phenomenal coach. I miss him dearly. Linda and his wife, Linda, and Paige were at my College Hall of Fame induction, the dinner the night before. So it was really special to have them there. I sure wish he could have been there, just because, you know, I mean, as a coach, he really cared about his players, and he cared about me deeply enough to allow me to struggle and play like a bozo at times, but he kept me in there. And he believed in me, and that confidence that he gave me at that 18-year-old in Boise, Idaho, it just grew from there. And was privileged to have played under him, and also all the coaches that he put on that staff. I mean, a lot of them are still coaching in the NFL and in college. Some have been head coaches. A lot of them have been head coaches. So, you know, it goes without saying, he knew how to seek talent and the right kind of people. And I was lucky to, become a Sun Devil because of him.
Right, and obviously a historic career as a Sun Devil for sure in that time leading up to that really special 1996 season. And I know you've been around the program since. You've been to a couple spring practices in Herm's tenure early this year before obviously all this kind of went down. How would you evaluate where Herm Edwards has taken this program in his 2 years now entering year 3 with Jaden Daniels at the helm at quarterback?
I love where Herm's taken it. I absolutely love it. I've always liked being around Herm Edwards. He's got an energy that you just feel it. And when he's real and authentic and genuine and in the light of a Pat Tillman type person that, you remember when you meet a guy like Herm Edwards, and he really is a guy who backs up what he talks about. That's key. I think it's really big for these kids to see someone like him and the level that he's achieved and where he's gone in his career as an NFL football player and as a coach in the NFL and a broadcaster, and to now be at ASU and to pull in those same kind of people to be on the staff to give these kids the most advantageous position and opportunity to thrive, not only on the field, but to thrive as humans and individuals. And I know he is a firm believer in you can't be a good football player unless you're a good person. So he's bringing in the right kind of athlete, and he's really going about it the right way. And I love Herm. I love getting to see Herm. He makes me feel good. He makes me want to play for him. I almost feel like I played for him one day a long time ago because he's that approachable and that he's that easy to get along with. And college kids need that in today's environment where guys are leaving all the time. Having him be there at the helm and hopefully there for a long time, because what else does he really have to do? It's Arizona. The weather's great. He loves it there. He's got everything he needs. Hopefully he's there for a really long time, and that commitment to, the game and your team and that program that the coaches preach, he's going to live that hopefully by being there, staying there, and continuing to bring in, the right kind of player and athlete, similar to what Bruce did with, guys now that are opera singers, doctors, actors, doing some really amazing things. When they brought us in as young kids, we were good people, and I think Herm's doing the same thing there. And I'm excited. Jaden Daniels is going to be a fun one to watch as he grows, matures, and does the special things we've already seen him capable of doing as a true freshman. He's 6'2", 174 pounds, which matches up to what I was as a true freshman when I played. So I really like Jaden. I think he's a super special talent, a great leader, phenomenal football player. Surround him with the right guys, which Herm is doing right now, bringing in the right recruits, and I think ASU's got something really special happening down there.
Right, and everyone always kind of says that ASU is this like sleeping giant, always on the precipice, but haven't quite gotten there since that 1996 season, really. So what were kind of the ingredients that went into you guys under Bruce being able to get to that point that Herm can do to lead his program there to the point that you guys got to?
We were hungry. My freshman year, we lost to U of A with a chance to go to a bowl game. My sophomore year, we were 3-8, had 8 guys drafted in the league that year. That pissed me off because we shouldn't be 3-8 if we got that much talent. It meant that we needed to get back to knowing how to work hard. So that's what I went and did. In our junior year, we had some great leaders, some phenomenal guys like Ryan Wood, Mike Langridge, guys that just put it down when it's time to work. And they let us, Bruce let us form a leadership council where we would be in charge of our positions. Obviously, as a quarterback, I was the leader of the offense and the whole team, but I took care of quarterbacks, but let everybody monitor their players and their teammates at each position. And Bruce let us handle problems. So we didn't bring to him petty little disagreements or, hey, so-and-so's not going to class. We handled that ourselves. We used peer pressure to say, hey, come on, let's go. And that all started that junior year. It carried over through the summer when we all made a commitment to stay there. I had a team meeting where just me and the players only, and I held the rose up and I said, hey, I don't know about you guys, but I'm staying here all summer. Who's in with me? Who wants to win a Rose Bowl? Every single dude in that room stood up. Everyone stayed. We worked our asses off that summer, but we also had a ton of fun having barbecues and pool parties and hanging out and bonding as a team. So the real special moment happened when we lost to U of A my junior year. And it really hurt because my roommate was a senior, Ryan Wood, and I wanted them so bad to get to a bowl game. I wanted to get there too. So it left a really sour, bad taste in our mouths that put us on the track to work our asses off to make sure that we absolutely maximized our potential and even went past that through hard work. By, June, in the middle of June, we ran 18 110s at 3 p.m. It was 118 degrees out. There were 22 guys on that squad that afternoon running 110s. We committed to each other. We sacrificed for the good of the team. We bonded. We loved. We cared for each other, which was huge in Bruce's motto was care for your teammates. And we truly did that. And when that next season came around, we pulled that one out against UW and then just kept stacking them, Nebraska being the one that put us on the map. But then in real true and exciting style, like I don't know how to win easy. And the teams I'm on usually, are scrapping to come from behind. We had some amazing games that really left an indelible impression on that whole community. And we didn't win the Rose Bowl. That 87 team did. But we're talked about as one of the greatest teams ever, even though we lost the Rose Bowl. And just a real special time.
Yeah, definitely. Such a historic season for ASU, especially, you at the helm holding those meetings and that whole cohesiveness is extremely important. I'm sure now, knowing everything that you kind of know now throughout the course of your career, you make it to the NFL, 2 teams, history. What would you tell a player like Jayden Daniels entering his second season, maybe stuff that you wish you knew when you were a college quarterback?
Oh, it's different. It's a different environment these days because, there's so much involvement. These guys are really into it completely the year round. And we get little breaks here and there. But, the best advice I could give him is, continue to be yourself. And when all things are said and done, he's got to be the tone setter for that entire team. And by tone setter, I mean not just on the field or in the weight room, but everywhere he goes, everyone's watching to see how he responds to adversity, how he responds to success. He'll be the barometer that will be the cornerstone that will drive that team to success. And his skills, they will come. He's going to get better each year with the coaching he will receive. Zach Hill, I like him, the OC there. Great coach, going to put him in position to capitalize on all of his talents. But he's only one player. So, you got to add the right mix of linemen, of receivers, of other tone setters on defense. You've got to keep bringing in the right players. And that's what Herm's doing. For a few years there, we didn't recruit out of Cali much. Now Herm's, he's Cali boy. He's rolling in the high-profile athletes from Cali. We're stealing some recruits from other big Pac-12 schools that see that, hey, there's something brewing here, and what a place to go play ball. It's warm. We rarely deal with weather. And living in Tempe and being a part of that environment, it's fun. It's a fun place to go to school. So Jayden's just got to remember, like I said, right now, it's crazy out. Spring ball should have been wrapping up, but now it's time to work. It's time to get in there and make sure you take care of everything you can to come into your sophomore year ready to lead this team, not be the guy that does everything for the team, but is just that tone setter that says, hey, this is what we're going to do. Our team goals are such that I would allow for anybody to go half-assed. It's 100% when we're doing something. If he does that, then I think things will continue to build.
And you mentioned Zach Hill, now offensive coordinator at ASU. What do you like about maybe his scheme from things that you've seen that might benefit Jayden this coming year?
Well, I know coming from Boise State, I'm good friends, longtime friends from when we were kids with Brian Harsin. So I pay attention to Boise State. I knew of Zach and what he was doing there. His quarterbacks always play very efficiently. They're very smart. They know the game. They know the intricacies of the defenses. They don't get caught by surprise. And sitting in on a couple of his meetings when spring ball just had started earlier in February, I was really impressed. I liked his offense. I liked his coaching style. I liked how he coached the quarterbacks through the intricacies of each play, how their feet should be, where their eyes should be. He's given all the the knowledge that Jayden needs to succeed. So I like him. He's young. I hope that the only problem there is, can we keep him? Can we keep him around for a few years? Because young, hot OCs like him tend to bounce pretty quick if they have some success. And all signs point to them being pretty successful this year. So yeah, I do like Zach. He's very approachable. like I said, young and enthusiastic and ready to come in there and coach those guys. And they got some talent. So obviously replacing Ayuk will be tough. You can never replace a player like that, but there are guys that now know, hey, that number one is open. I'm going to go step up and try to become that guy. And when there's a hunger like that, then that's when that tone is set and guys can work hard to achieve it.
Right. I mean, a lot of people, for you in your career, you got drafted second round. It was a big, thing for ASU, obviously having another player drafted so high. Now ASU has the potentially 2 back-to-back first-round draft picks, N'Keal Harry and then now Brandon Ayuk possibly. How important would that be just for the program overall?
It's huge, for the fact that you can come to ASU as whatever star recruit you are and get coached to not only succeed there as a Sun Devil and buy in where you're there and you're working hard for that program, but then you're going to get coaching that's going to help you in the eyes of the dream of every kid on that program to be in the NFL. Those eyeballs are now looking at players because they're getting coached well. It's one thing to get the talent, but it's another thing to coach it so that they excel on the field and prepare them for that next level to try to help these kids, achieve their dream. But that's, makes me think back to when you asked me about Jaden and what's the best advice for him. It's to be where you're at now and not worry about one thing at all. Don't even think about, oh man, if I keep going, have a good sophomore year and a pretty good junior year, I'm going to get drafted. Wrong mentality. You got to be here now. You got to be an ASU Sun Devil and a Sun Devil only with no thought of the NFL. It's a dream, right? It is a dream, of course. It motivates you in the times when you don't want to get up early or you don't want to do another rep or you're just sick of football. It makes you get back to it and go, yes, I got to stay, to the grindstone. But it does nothing if you're thinking about that too much. You got to be in the moment where you're at. And so that's a good thing. These kids that are playing there now that have excelled, they've done a really good job of that. Ayuk is one of them. He is a phenomenal kid, phenomenal. Everybody I talk to in the building, the secretaries are usually the ones I go to first. They love him dearly. They just fawn about him because they were there. One of them was there when I was there, so I know her well, Jill DeMichael, and she just raves about Brandon Ayuk. And so when you hear that from somebody that knows you from a young kid to now being a 45-year-old, you understand these are the right kind of kids coming in there. So seeing Ayuk get drafted first round to N'Keal Harry, that means we're going to have some guys wanting to catch the ball from Jaden Daniels. And at this point, if I was a receiver and I looked across the landscape of the college scene, he'd be one of the first QBs I'd want to go play with just because of his style, his ability to throw the deep ball and really throw any ball that you can ask him to do. He's a special player.
Yeah, definitely. Had such success already in his freshman year for sure. Now, I kind of want to transition to your playing career in the NFL, obviously with your stint with the Cardinals and Broncos. Had some struggles in various seasons. How were you able to just kind of, despite some adversity, continue to push forward and continue to give your best? Like, what was your mentality like going through struggles, but then keeping at it so encouragingly?
Yeah, it was tough. It definitely becomes a job. I never played football for the money. I had a dream that I wanted to win a Super Bowl. I don't know why or what, it started probably because my brothers. That was my dream. I wanted to be in the NFL and win a Super Bowl. So when I got there, I've achieved my dream. So they want to pay me money to do this? Awesome. Fine with me. I'd do it for free because I love playing ball. But when you go through those struggles, you see other guys making money and you see them not giving it their all, that was what was really hard. When you had teammates that maybe, through a certain part of the year would give up, even though we weren't eliminated, numbers-wise from the playoffs. That was the hardest part. The ups and downs, you deal with those as an athlete and as a human anyway, every day. But the struggles going 3-13, letting go of really foundational players after that 98 season that was so special, that was really hard because all of a sudden I'm making all this money, yet I've just lost, 35 plus years of NFL experience because we didn't want to pay them more, or we didn't want to try to keep them on the squad. And that was tough. We replaced him with some good players, But how do you replace Larry Sanders or Lomas Brown or Jameer Miller? These guys are like all-pro, phenomenal football players. You can't tell me you bring in a rookie to replace somebody like those guys. So it was tough. It was definitely a challenge, but mentally, you know, I just believed in myself. I kept trying to motivate my guys. I figured through hard work and through perseverance and believing in each other that hopefully someday that would change and the wins would start coming. It never happened much after 98 there for those next 4 years. But then, you know, I still put my heart and soul into that organization. We got that vote passed in 98. So I feel, man, if you really look at Super Bowl championships are huge, but that win against Dallas in 98 was damn near like a Super Bowl for that organization because that vote passed, that stadium got voted in, and now they were staying in the Valley, giving them that opportunity to have the year where they did make it to the Super Bowl. And now they're the team in that state, and that's great for that organization because now they have a solid fan base that they can build upon. And I have to say that team in 98, me and all those guys included, Kwame Lassiter, rest his soul, Chris Gedney, rest his soul. I mean, all these guys, Lomas Brown, Larry Sanders, Frank Sanders, Rob Moore, Aaron Graham. I mean, we put it down for that organization, and now the seasons weren't great and the times were tough when we lost a lot of games. But we have something to be real proud of, that we won the first playoff game in 50 years for that organization in the time when they needed it the most.
Right, and that was such a momentous victory, one, but then just for the future of the organization too, just had so many implications. And I'm sure there are so many memories or stories from your 6 years there. But is there one in particular that stands out to you from your time in Arizona?
I'd say when we beat Dallas, you know, coming home after that game was super special. You know, the lead up to the playoffs to get to that was just unbelievable. We think that year we won close to 7 or 8 games by 3 points or less. So we did it in fine style. I mean, Cardiac Cards was our nickname. When we went to Dallas, no one really gave us a chance. We beat them, and that dynasty was done after that. So coming back on that plane, the celebration on that plane was awesome. And when we pulled into Sky Harbor and they said, look out your window, check it out. We all looked out the window. There were 8,000 fans on the tarmac. We got out of that plane, they were just going crazy. So that was a really, really special moment. If you count 96 season and 98 season for me, some athletes, they never get to experience anything even close to that. They might be even on a team that does more than that, but not in the style that we did it. It was just, my mom says all the time, like, God, you guys just gave me so many gray hairs. We were fun to watch. We were exciting, but we were unpredictable. And those 2 seasons were pretty special in the Valley, 2 that are still really talked about quite a bit. And I was just glad to have awesome teammates that believed in me and let me be their leader and really work their asses off to make something special happen.
Yeah, I mean, again, just such a historic moment for the organization and everything in between. A historic NFL and college career for you, Jake. One more time for our listeners, where can they go to get more information about Ready List Sports and everything you guys are up to?
Yeah, check out ReadyListSports.com. Follow us on Twitter at ReadyListSports. You know, we're out there. We're here to help. We want to help coaches, new coaches, you know, that have never coached before. Even if a mom was to coach a flag football team, we've got the tool they need to use, and it's affordable. It's there. It's tech driven, so it's intuitive and very easy to use. And if anybody out there has to definitely check out ReadyListSports.com. Thank you, Mason, for the pub there. And yeah, you know, life goes on. There's no such thing as a career, right? I had a great experience in the NFL. My career is not over. This is going to be a big thing, Ready List Sports, along with other things that I got to look forward to in life as a father now and a retired NFL legend. So appreciate the time and the ability to talk about what I'm up to and to recollect on some amazing people and some good times in my life.